What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Diao, and today we're going to be talking about Top Gun Maverick, the much anticipated sequel to the original that's coming out May 27th. I've already talked about the original Top Gun. If you guys haven't seen my review for that, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can watch it. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get into Top Gun Maverick. So, if you guys watched my review for the first film, you guys know I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was a good time. It was definitely some 80s cheese and Tom Cruise doing his Tom Cruise thing, but hey, I had a blast with it. And the jet action sequences, the dog fights, I thought it was very well done in the first film. Hearing that they're doing a sequel to Top Gun almost 30 years later, I didn't know what to make of it. At the time, I haven't seen the first Top Gun, so hearing that they're making a sequel to it after all this time, I was like, okay, sure. Because we live in a time where people want to cash in on nostalgia and, bringing back properties from the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. So this seemed to fall in line with that as well. But what made it different with this one was that Tom Cruise was really pushing to get a sequel made. He seemed very passionate about this film. Unfortunately, Tony Scott, who directed the first film, passed away, so he wasn't able to come back and direct the sequel. So instead, they got Joseph Kosinski, and he directed um, movies like Oblivion and Tron Legacy. So I thought, okay, he's an okay director, but he seems to work with Tom Cruise really well. So hey, there may be some good things that he does with this film. Who knows? If Tom Cruise has confidence in him, hey, we might get something good. So this film was supposed to come out, I think, 2019, but of course, because of the pandemic, they had to postpone it. They pushed it back to 2020, but then they didn't stick with that date, and they finally said, "Hey, we're just going to wait till 2021 to release this film," because they were adamant on not releasing this on any streaming service. They weren't going to release this on Paramount Plus. They wanted this to be a theatrical experience. Tom Cruise and everyone behind the production was so behind this film. They knew that what they were making was something special, and they wanted everyone's first viewing of this film to be on the big screen. And after watching this movie, I'm so glad that they did, because Top Gun Maverick was phenomenal. It is one of the best films of the year. At least it is one of my favorite films of the year so far. It was fantastic. Now, when we talk about sequels, it's been hit or miss that that a sequel would be better than the first film. There are few diamonds in the rough that are actually as good or surpasses the original. Of course, we talk about The Empire Strikes Back, Aliens, Terminator 2, Godfather Part 2, Mad Max Fury Road, Blade Runner 2049, and I am very confident to say that Top Gun Maverick belongs right along those sequels, because not only is Top Gun Maverick surpassing the original in almost every way, but it is one of the greatest sequels ever made. I'm not I'm not being facetious. This is not hyperbole. I am not overhyping this. Top Gun Maverick is one of the best sequels ever made. It took everything that the original did and just enhanced it. And it chopped up all the extra fluff and the cheesy stuff from the original. It was much more tight, it was much more focused, it was much more of a modern movie, but still keeping the spirit and the essence of what the original was. This film, I was just blown away by it. First of all, let's talk about Tom Cruise as Pete Mitchell, aka Maverick. He was amazing in this movie. It feels like he hasn't missed a beat since the first movie. And like, of course I expect that from Tom Cruise, because, with how much he's doing in these films at his age. He's 59 years old. And the stuff that he does in this movie, like, I'm just blown away that he was able to do all this stuff. The stuff with the jets and all the stunt work with that. That was him. He actually was in the jet doing all these crazy stunts in the movie, and it's just incredible. And not only that, Maverick as a character goes through much more of a personal, emotional journey in this movie. He is now coming to the terms of his mortality. He's become older, he's become more experienced, he's gone through more turmoil and hardships in life. He's pretty much lost almost everyone that he cared about from the first movie. He's practically alone. And he's seen all of the turmoil and consequences from being a pilot in Top Gun and him losing his best friend, Goose, in the film. Like you feel he's going through a real personal struggle. And now he's called to action to train these new up and coming recruits to on this very dangerous mission where he has to determine whether he has to play by the rules because he has a problem with playing by the rules. He likes to do his own thing. He has to learn when's the right time to play by the rules and when that he should go with his instincts. And with the mission that they are brought on in this film, it calls for them to do both. And so it was very it was just very interesting just to see Maverick go through that journey. He's matured a lot since the first film. And I just thought he was very good. On top of that, we have Miles Teller playing Goose's son, Rooster. He was so great in this movie. He reminded me a lot of Goose from the first film. It was great casting. Not only did he look like Goose, but like he has some of the features and some of the mannerisms from Goose, but he was still his own character. He didn't try to carbon copy the performance of Goose from the first film. He was his own character, but you still felt he was carrying the emotional weight of his father getting killed from a mission from Top Gun and holding Maverick responsible somewhat as well. So you definitely see like the turmoil and the dynamic between Maverick and Rooster. It's some of the most compelling stuff in the movie. The other Top Gun trainees like Phoenix, Bob, and Payback, I thought were really good too. It's like they each had their own personalities and they worked off of each other really, really well. And you felt like they were a team and that they were friends. They knew each other for a while. The standout to me though was Hangman. He reminded me a lot of Iceman from the first film. It's the cocky one that's like a foil to Maverick somewhat, but he thinks that he's the biggest hot shot, and he's trying to stick it to Rooster in the movie. Trying to be second in command to Maverick, who's training them. I thought he was very good as well. The other supporting characters like John Hamm, Ed Harris, I thought they were very good as well. And then you had Jennifer Connelly as Penny. I thought she was very good. I liked the chemistry that she had with Tom Cruise throughout the movie. What I also really appreciated about this movie is that while I did like the first film, there wasn't a lot of plot going on outside of Maverick and Goose going up to the ranks of Top Gun. But as far as the conflict, it wasn't really that defined. But in this movie, there was an objective, there is a goal, the plot is much more explained. You understand what's going on, you understand what they're trying to achieve, and you see them going through the steps to achieve the goal. So that's what I really appreciated about this movie as well. As I said, for those of you who didn't care for like the cheesy 80s factor from the first movie, it is toned down a lot in this movie. It's a much more mature film. You feel like the stakes are a lot higher in this movie, but once again, it's not afraid to have fun either. It did have some really fun moments, and there was actually some funny joke in this movie that I thought was done really well, but it didn't take away from the serious moments at all. It was properly placed. But of course, the best part of this movie was the jet sequences, the dogfights, the stunt work with all the jets was jaw dropping. It was amazing. I did like the dogfight scenes in the first film, but this stuff is just on another level. Like behind the scenes, they did hundreds of hours of training to do all these jet stunts. There was no, actually, there's probably like two shots that was VFX shots, but 99.9% of this movie was jets actually going up in the air and doing these crazy maneuvers and all these dogfights. Like the camera work was great, the editing was smooth, like and I really like the new addition that they have with these dogfights is the POV shots. Like I thought that was a really cool addition to to add to the action set pieces. And it's like it didn't feel too claustrophobic. You didn't feel like it was too dizzying because the editing and like the shots were done so smoothly. And like I was on the edge of my seat, especially when it came to that climax. The climax was so good, so good. Like it was intense. It was, on the edge of my seat. Like it was just really cool stuff happening with those dog fights. That's how you do dogfight sequences, Dunkirk. And what's also great about this movie, if there's people out there that weren't huge fans of the first film, or even people that haven't seen the first movie, first of all, I think you should see the first movie anyway. But if you guys haven't seen it or didn't like the first film, you don't need to see the first movie to enjoy this film. It does a really good job bringing you up to speed of what happened in the first film. Of course, you'll be rewarded if you did see the first movie because there are some callbacks and surprise appearances that fans of the first film will appreciate, but that's not necessary. You'll still enjoy the film regardless. Like I'll say for people that say hated the first film, I would have a hard time believing that you go into this movie and not walk out saying that you at least liked it. Like it's that good, man. I'm serious. I haven't been this excited about a movie in a long time, and I didn't expect to say this about a Top Gun sequel. And yes, while I did enjoy the first Top Gun, I didn't think the sequel was going to be that good, especially because we waited so long to do a sequel. But like, man, this movie is incredible. If you guys were even curious about seeing this movie, go out and see it. Don't wait till it comes on Paramount Plus or on any streaming service. Go see this in the theater on the biggest screen possible because this movie demands it. Just from the dogfights and the jet sequences alone, that is worth the price of admission. Like, do I even have any issues with this movie? I mean, it's just a nitpick, but like, while I did like Jennifer Connelly in this movie, I did like the chemistry that she had with Tom Cruise in the film. I will say, I don't think the romance they had was as strong as Charlie from the first film. You know, and it's like not to say that it was bad, but like in the first movie, you really felt the electricity of the chemistry between Maverick and Charlie. And this one, like, I mean, there was some sparks there, but it was more downplayed, in my opinion. But that's just a little nitpick. That's a gripe. That didn't really bother me. That's literally like the only issue I had with the film. I cannot recommend this film highly enough. So that means I have to give Top Gun Maverick perfection. You know it's good when I give it perfection. I don't just give it out willy nilly. But yes, this is the first perfection I'm giving in 2022. Go out and see this movie, guys. Go and support it. Like, we don't get movies like this anymore. We don't. Like, you don't see movies going this extra mile just to show how amazing the stunt work is. Like, you don't see this nowadays. If you want more movies like this, you need to go out in the theater and see it. It's just the bottom line. But that's my thoughts on Top Gun Maverick. But when you guys will go and see this, please let me know your thoughts. Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Uh, this is better than the first film. How did this compare to the first movie? Did you guys see the first film before watching this? Please let me know your thoughts down below. So if you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And please hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Top Gun fans, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.